Good evening, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga. Thank you for joining me for class today. Today is Friday. We made it through the week. Thank you so much for joining me. I guess it's the end of the first week of August, August 7th, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time here on the East Coast. And in Baltimore now, there's a storm that just started. So there's always a possibility of the power going out or stopping for a moment. So I apologize for any interruptions that may happen. If I suddenly go dark, you'll know that's probably what happened. So let's hope that doesn't happen today. But yeah, thank you all for joining me this week. We've been working on our twists, and so today will be a level 2 focused Vinyasa class, 60 minutes, and we'll continue advancing our twisting poses here. So a lot of times the twisting postures are associated just with the spine, and we'll definitely be working on that today, but as well as the spine, we'll be working on the rotation in our hips and in our shoulders. So we've got plenty of rotations to do, plenty of twists, all lots of good benefits from twists. You can think of it as a lot of times when you're holding a twist, it kind of constricts the blood from flowing into certain areas in your body. And after you've held and you let it go, blood will rush back in. It's kind of a detoxifying process, so it can feel kind of good that way. So we'll take our time at first, kind of getting used to it, and then we'll ramp things up. This is a level 2 class, so we'll be getting into some more advanced postures, but I will still provide some options for modifications along the way. Blocks, if you typically work with blocks, you can have them handy. If you do, just place them up at the top of your mat for now. Sorry, Coney. Um, and I think that's it as far as what I have for to announce today. So yeah, so hopefully the storm holds off as far as any power interruptions, but we'll see. Can't do anything about it, so we'll just do our best. So let's start in a nice cross-legged seat. And we'll start to settle into our practice here. So in your seat, just be nice and comfortable with your legs crossed, ankles underneath the knees, rooting down through the sit bones, rising up through the crown of your head. If you ever need to place anything underneath your sit bones just to allow you to sit up straighter, go ahead and do that. You can roll up your mat. You can sit on your blocks. You can place a blanket underneath. Whatever works for you in your typical cross-legged seated pose. So I invite you now to either soften your eyes or close your gaze completely as we begin to settle into our practice here. And as you settle in and you start to deepen your breathing, you now have the option to start taking inhales and exhales through your nose. So try to keep your lips closed as you just gently inhale and slowly exhale. Taking the time to just transition now to your practice, forgetting about the rest of the day, the rest of the week. You made it through. Now that you've shown up, take this hour for yourself. As you inhale, make sure you're inhaling deeply and completely, filling up the entire chest, letting the ribs expand, collarbones expand. When you exhale, keep that length, but just let your ribs fall, let your belly fall. Keep your shoulders back, let your stomach collapse. Just take a couple more deep breaths on your breath, taking your time. Take one more deep breath. All right, and just meet me back here. You can gently start to blink your eyes open as you bring your awareness back into your body here. Keep your palms rested on top of your knees. Let's start to roll out the neck to start. So drop your chin to your chest. We'll just do some gentle neck rotations. So let your right ear fall off to your right shoulder. Let your head fall back. Gazing up towards the sky as you come through center. Let the left ear fall to the left shoulder. Chin to chest. Come through center. Let's repeat that. Same direction here. Right ear, right shoulder. The head drop back. Gaze up towards the ceiling through the center. Chin down to chest. As you come through center, just stop here and we'll switch directions. So now left ear to left shoulder. Then the head gently falls back. Coming through center, right ear to right shoulder. Chin falls down. And come through center. One more time this way. Left ear, left shoulder, head drops back. Coming through center, right ear, right shoulder. Let the chin fall down to center. Stay here for a moment with your chin tucked. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. Now let's lift your gaze back up. Release your arms down to the sides. Turn the palms out. Let's inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms out, release them down. Inhale, arms overhead. Turn the palms out as you exhale and release them down. Two more times, palms out. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, palms out, release the arms down. One more time, bring the palms up overhead. And exhale, release them down. So it's inhale and back overhead, but keep your arms up. With your arms up, a lot of times our shoulders want to come with us. So soften the shoulders down your back. And we'll add a twist. So when we twist through the spine, we want to create length on our inhales and then use that length to twist and revolve on our exhales. So let's try that here. Let's inhale as we lengthen. Keep that, and exhale as you twist your body to the right from the navel up. Once you can't twist any further, just release your arms down to the right side. So left arm to that right knee, right arm behind you. We're holding just for a breath here. And now we'll inhale, come back to center. Bring both arms up overhead, palms face each other, soften the shoulders down. Exhale, turn to your left this time. From the navel up. We can't turn anymore. Release both arms down. Right arm to that left knee, left arm behind you. Stay for a breath. Now inhale, come back up to center. Both arms overhead. We'll do this one more time. So exhale as you turn to your right, twist, release both arms down. This time you have the option, if you'd like, maybe turn your neck a little more to look over the right shoulder. Now we'll inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist and turn to the left, releasing both arms down. You get an option to turn your neck to look over that left shoulder. And let's inhale back to center, both arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the side. So add a little side lean now. So palms out, inhale as you raise the arms up overhead. Drop the left arm down. Right arm is up. Inhale as you lengthen. And exhale, side bend to the left. Palm or fingertips can be on the mat. You can extend your arm out if you'd like. Make sure both sit bones are rooted. Try and create length in both sides of the body, the left and the right side. Keeping the bicep next to the ear. Stay for one more breath. And let's inhale, both arms up overhead. Switching now, drop the right arm down, either fingertips or palm to the mat. Inhale as you create length in that left side. Exhale, side bend to the right. So again, you can walk the fingertips or palm out if you'd like. Just keep both sit bones rooted. Try to keep the bicep next to the ear, creating length in both sides of the body. One more breath here. And let's inhale, both arms up overhead. Side lean again. This time you have the option when you drop your left arm, your palm or fingertips can stay there if you want. The back of the left hand can come to the low back as you side bend to the left. So you have both options here. Maybe you want to add that half bind with your hand to the low back. Either way, you're still opening the shoulders. And you have the option to turn your neck to look up at the right fingertips. Still keep the bicep next to the ear, both sit bones rooted. One more breath. And inhale back to center, release the bind, raise the both arms up overhead. Other side, release the right arm down. You have the same options here, palm or fingertips, or back of the hand to the low back. Inhale as you lengthen, and exhale, side bend to the right this time. And still creating length in both sides of the body. Keep both sit bones rooted, bicep next to the ear. Option to turn your neck to look up towards the fingertips. And stay for one more breath. Let's inhale back up to center, bring both arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right. Shoulders are nice and warmed up. Let's do a little a challenge here. I like this challenge. So extend both arms out, palms face down. This is our internal external challenge here. So begin by externally rotating the right arm so that the pinky is down, thumb up, maybe your palm either faces forward or up towards the sky. Left arm does the opposite, internally rotates, thumb down, pinky up. We're rotating the entire arm, so we have opposite directions. So raise the right arm overhead as you bend the right elbow, palm comes to the neck. Left arm comes down, bend the left elbow, back of the left hand to the low back. We're not staying here. So we're going to gently release, bring both arms out through center, palms down, and now we'll switch. We'll externally rotate this left arm. So the left palm comes up, internally rotate right arm, right palm comes back. And now send the left arm up as you bend the elbow, right arm down, bend that elbow. Palm of the left hand to the neck, back of the right hand to the low back. And then we'll gently release through center again. So here we'll move as we come through, we switch. So externally rotate the right arm, internally rotate the left arm, bend the elbows, stay for a breath on your back, and then gently release through center. As you come through center, externally rotate the left arm, internally rotate the right arm, bending both elbows, coming to your back. Now, this is a mind challenge as much of a physical challenge. We'll gently release. We'll come back to center. Stay with your hands at shoulder height, palms down. And exhale, gently release the arms down. All right. So we'll come forward into tabletop. So you can place your arms forward, come to your knees, or you can just send your legs off to the sides. In your tabletop, wrists are below your shoulders, knees are below your hips, tops of the feet to the mat. Hug that navel in and up. Let's add our cow cats. So let's inhale as we drop the navel, send the heart forward, look up. Exhale, round the back, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy. Inhale, navel drops, tailbone lifts, heart forward, look up. Exhale, round the back into your cat pose. 3 more times each way on your breath. Inhaling through your cow. Exhaling, rounding through your cat. 2 more times. And once you finish your last one, just meet me back in a nice neutral spine. Hugging the navel in and up, shoulders over wrists. Now let's bring the big toes to touch. Let's separate the knees out wide and gently send your hips back toward your heels. Come into your child's pose. You can walk your hands out, release your forehead down to the mat or to a block. Just take a couple deep breaths here. Just remembering that child's pose is always an option in class to come back to if you need to catch your breath, just need to get your bearings. Child's pose is the way to go. To be very regrounding and resetting to come back here. Just take one more nice, long, deep breath. And now, lift your hips up. As you lift your head up, we'll send the legs off to the side. We're coming onto our back for a moment here. So we'll send the legs out in front of us with the knees bent. Just gently hold onto your shins or your thighs as you roll onto your back. Let's draw both knees in towards our chest. Hug them in. Now let's keep the right knee hugged in. Let's extend that left leg forward. So left leg is straightened, heel to the mat. Both feet are flexed, the toes are coming back toward your face. Try to spin this inner left thigh in and down. And now draw that right knee closer to the right shoulder as you press that left heel away from your body. Imagine there's a wall below your left foot and you're pushing it away, creating length in your spine. Stay for one more breath. Then we'll switch. So we'll draw the left knee into our chest, extend and straighten that right leg out. Release the right heel to the mat. Same thing, flexing both toes so they come back towards your face. Internally rotating that inner right thigh in and down towards the mat. Drawing the left knee in towards your left shoulder as you extend and press out through the right heel. Press that imaginary wall away from you. One more breath. Now let's draw both knees into our chest. Keep them in. Bring the knees and the feet to touch. And now from here, let's extend both arms wide, out to a T shape. Both palms are up. You can also come to a field goal post, whatever your environment allows you to. And now bring your shins up to parallel with your knees over your hips. So shins are parallel to the mat. And we're gently going to rock for drop the knees from side to side. So instead of rotating uh, our torso here, we're going to keep our torso centered and let the low body do the twisting. So here we go. We exhale as we drop the knees to the left, and inhale, bring them back up to center. Exhale to the right, opposite side. Inhale back to center. So keep going on your breath. Don't worry about the knees touching the mat. I'd rather have both your shoulders rooted. So if you're going so far to where your knees drop and the shoulders come up off the mat, maybe try and go to a little bit less next time. Just keep moving. We're still warming up the spine here. Let's do one more time each side. And now let's come back to center. Look both knees into your chest. Give them a gentle squeeze. Keep holding the right knee in towards your chest. Let's extend and straighten that left leg straight out again. Releasing the left heel to the mat. This time place the left arm to the outside of the right knee. And then right arm comes straight out, palm to the sky. And we'll gently send our right knee over to the left side. So we're adding a static twist here. Try to keep both shoulders rooted. Oh, sorry, Koni. Keeping both shoulders rooted. Both feet are still flexed. And try to have this knee at least up at hip height. Last option, to turn your neck to look over the right fingertips. Stay for one more breath. Now let's inhale, come back to center. Recenter your hips, draw both knees into your chest. This time keep your left knee in, extend and straighten that right leg out. It's the same thing as before, flexing both toes. Bring the right arm to the outside of the left knee, and gently let that left knee fall off to the right. We're adding our spinal twist this side. Extend that left arm out to the side, palm faces up. Keep that left shoulder rooted, and turn your neck to look over the fingertips, left fingertips. Stay for one more breath here. And gently come back to center. Let's hug both knees back into your chest again. Give a gentle squeeze. And now hands behind the thighs. We're coming back into tabletop. So if you're one that likes to roll up and down your spine a couple times, you can do that. Crossing your legs and coming forward into tabletop. Or you can just let your legs fall off to the side. Meet us all back in tabletop. All right, so we're starting to get warmed up. Back in your tabletop, make sure your wrists are still underneath your shoulders. Knees and top to the feet or hips width distance. We'll start to warm up the hips a little bit. So let's extend and straighten that right leg back, flexing the right toes. Just as we were on our back, now we're facing down. We're bringing that thigh up to hip height. So now we're spinning that inner right thigh in and up towards the ceiling. Try not to arch your back, so make sure you're still hugging the navel in and up, pressing down to the base of each finger and each palm. Now keeping your pelvis neutral with both hips facing the ground, let's externally rotate that right leg and then internally rotate it back to center. So externally rotate to the right toes face out, internally rotate back to center. 2 more times, try and move the entire leg as one without moving the pelvis or the hips. Last time, rotate out, and then rotate back in. Drop the right knee down. Let's switch to the other side. So let's extend and straighten that left leg back, raising up to hip height, flexing the left toes. Again, spinning that left inner thigh in and up towards the ceiling. Hug that navel in and up to reduce that arch in your low back and press back through that left heel. So same thing on this side. So we'll externally rotate the entire left leg so the toes face out. And then rotate back to center. 3 more times here. Externally rotate, turn the entire leg, pelvis stays neutral. And then come back to center. Externally rotate, toes out. And back to center. One more time, externally rotate. And back to center. Let's release that knee down. Just recenter your hips. And let's send our hips back towards our heels, but keep your torso up this time. So you can send your hips on your heels. If you're one that likes to curl your toes under, you can do that as well. Or if you just want to sit cross-legged, we'll be here for a couple minutes, just waking up our wrists, giving them a little bit of attention. So get nice and comfortable. So to roll our wrist out, let's intersect our fingers, bring the base of our wrist together, and then try and catch your elbows together. And we'll just gently rotate our wrists like a figure eight symbol or an infinity symbol, whatever you like to think of it. Always good to just give our wrists a little bit of love here. Let's slow that down and switch directions. I always feel my bones clicking and clacking here right in my wrists. I don't know what it is, but it's always something in there. All right, begin to slow. Let's separate the fingers. And this time, elbows separate, bring the backs of the wrists together. Let's gently start to roll here. So rolling the fingers in, up, and out. The idea here is to try to keep the base of your wrist touching the entire time without hitting yourself in the face. All right, gently slow. Let's go the opposite direction. Just try not to think about it too much. And let's gently slow. Release your hands. Let's come back into tabletop. Now in our tabletop, let's curl our toes under, lift our hips up and back, coming into our first downward facing dog. You can pedal out your feet, lift one heel, lift the other. You can drop one shoulder, drop the other. Just take a couple breaths to just wake up your legs, taking your dog for a walk here. One more breath here. And let's come back to stillness. Keep pressing those heels back. Now, slight bend in the knees. Let's raise that right leg up to hip height, just like when we were in tabletop. So we're flexing that right foot, spinning the right thigh in and up towards the ceiling. Now we'll externally rotate that right leg so the right toes face out. Pelvis doesn't move. The hips still are square to the ground. And now keeping the toes facing out, we'll shift forward, shoulders over wrists as we bend our right knee to our right tricep. Exhale, press yourself back. Inhale, come forward. Right knee, right tricep. Exhale, press back. Right leg's in the air. Two more times. Toes are facing out the entire time. Right knee, right tricep. Pressing up and back. One last time. Shifting forward, shoulders over wrists. And pressing up and back. Let's release that right foot down. Coming to the other side. If this is a little too much for you, you can drop to your knees and do the same thing in tabletop. So, if you're staying with me, let's lift that left leg up in the air. Keep flexing the left foot and turn the entire left leg out to the left side so the toes face away, but keeping the hips down. Now we'll inhale as we bend the left knee, send the shoulders over wrists, knee to tricep. Exhale, pressing back. Three more times here. Inhale forward, shoulders over wrists, elbow to tricep. Sorry, knee to tricep. Two more times. Shifting forward, knee to tricep. Pressing, lifting that leg up. One last time. And shifting up and back. Internally rotate that left foot down. Come back into your down dog. Now let's inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Stay in your forward fold. We'll come into a ragdoll pose. So grab opposite elbows. You can let your knees bend. Let your head hang heavy. In between both arms. Gently pressing down to the base of each foot. You can gently start to sway side to side. And let's switch whichever elbow's on top. Switch your clasp. Keep letting your head hang heavy with your chin slightly tucked. Rocking from side to side for another breath here. And let's come back to stillness. Place your hands on your low back, fingers down, palms up. Draw the elbows in towards each other. Roll the shoulders up and back.
We'll come up to standing nice and slow, so keep hugging the elbows in towards each other. So start to roll up your spine one vertebrae at a time. Your head and your neck are still the last things to arrive. Keep drawing the elbows in towards each other.
And once you come up to center, keep that broad shoulders and just release the arms down. Palms face forward. So come to the top of the mat if you're not there already. Feet or hips width distance, heels behind the center toes. Bring your hands to your hips for a moment. With your hands to your hips, have your thumbs behind and your fingers in front. Use your thumbs to press your tailbone down and your fingers to opposingly lift your frontal hip points up, reducing that overlordosis in our low back. Soften the shoulders down away from the ears. Chin is next to the chest. Chin is parallel to the mat, away from the chest. One more breath here. And now let's inhale as we raise the arms overhead, palms face each other. Stay here for a breath. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale as you hinge forward, forward fold. Knees can bend. You can rest your chest on your thigh if you need to. Have a slight tuck of the chin. We'll inhale as we lift up halfway, hands to the shins, nice flat back, extending through all sides of the torso, still softening the shoulders away from the ears. And exhale, rebend, forward fold. Stay again for a breath here in your forward fold. Keep spinning those inner thighs in and back. Press your feet down into the mat, back up to standing. Inhale, raise the arms out and up, overhead, palms overhead. Stay for a breath, soften the shoulders down. Roll the pinky side edge towards each other. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right, ready to continue warming up the body here, bringing it up to one breath, one movement. Arms down to the sides, palms face forward. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Here we go. Let's inhale as we raise the arms up overhead, palms face each other. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, a halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms down. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back into your plank. Drop your knees down. Shift the torso forward. Bend the elbows. Lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes. Tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift your head up. Chest up. Baby cobra. Stay here for a breath as you release the tailbone down towards your heels. Keep drawing the elbows in towards each other. And exhale, gently release the forehead down, curling the toes under, pressing your hips up through your modified plank with your knees down, and then hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Stay in your down dog for 3 nice, slow, deep breaths. Keep pressing your chest back towards your thighs, heels pressed back and down. Gently pressing down through the base of each finger and each palm, especially the index and the thumb. They always want to pop up. And one more breath here. Now let's inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Let's inhale, lift halfway with the feet hips width distance. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, back up to standing, arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a moment here, and we'll continue on. Let's inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms down, bend your knees, keep your left foot forward, step your right foot back. Keep your right heel up for a moment. And now we'll drop the right heel down. We're coming into warrior two pose here. So warrior two feet, right toes are slightly forward of the right heel. Heel toe the left foot to the center of the mat. So you have heel to arch alignment. Bring the left arm to the inside edge, right arm up to the sky, press down through your feet. Inhale as you lift up into your warrior two pose. Let's settle in here. Make sure that left knee tracks over that left ankle, pressing back through that right outer foot. Make sure your arms are nice and shoulder height. Just kind of wiggle them just to get settled in. Once you're settled, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Now turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Stay for a breath here. And now we'll shift our torso and our left arm forward, keeping the legs just as they are. Now release the left arm down. Right arm comes to the sky. You have your options in your side angle. Your arm can stay on that left thigh, or you can bring your left arm to the inside or outside edge of that front leg. If you want to use a block underneath your hand, you can do that. Or you can just stay up with your hand on your thigh. Either way, whatever you choose, keep firming the outer left hip in. It's easy to let it sink out, so we're really firming it in, pressing back through the right leg. Turn the pinky side edge towards the front of the mat. And now last option with your arm, you can stay overhead, or if you want to bring your bicep next to your ear, create a nice long spine here in your side angle. Keep rolling that pinky side edge down now, thumb comes up. You can turn your neck maybe to look underneath that arm, up towards the ceiling. One more breath here. Now stay low, release the right arm down, release the left arm down, both arms to either side of that left foot for a moment. Now let's walk both arms to the right side. So follow me here. We're walking to the right side, facing the long edge side of our mat. Our toes face forward so that our feet are parallel, heels behind the center toes. We're in our wide-legged stance here. So you're up, still parallel with the mat, with your hands underneath your shoulders. This is where if you have blocks, you can place them underneath your fingers or your palms. We'll add our forward fold here in our wide-legged stance. So again, make sure your heels are centered behind your center toes so that the feet are nice and parallel. Let's inhale as you lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. So again, you can place your palms on blocks, or if you want to release them down to the mat, make sure they're shoulder width distance, elbows are bent. You can begin to walk your hands back towards your feet to where your wrists are parallel with the ankles. Make sure you're shifting weight more into the toes rather than the heels, but still keep the heels on the mat. You can have a slight bend in the knees if you need to, but try and draw the kneecaps up towards the hips. Chin is tucked to let the neck hang long, Head is nice and heavy. Stay for one more breath. And gently walk your hands back out if they're back, lifting back up halfway. Now we're staying low here. We'll turn to the right this time. So as we walk our hands to the right towards the back of our mat, our right toes face forward and lifting up on that back left heel. So we're in a low lunge here, facing the back edge side of our mat. Now we'll drop that left heel down with the left toes forward. Come into our warrior two on our other side. So let's get our feet nice and ready. You want that heel to arch alignment. Left toes are slightly facing forward. Right arm to the inside edge, lift the left arm up to the sky, press down through your feet, and inhale as you lift up into your warrior two. All right. Let's settle in here for a bit. Check to make sure that right knee is over that right ankle, pressing back through that outer left side of the foot. Arms are up at shoulder height, palms face down. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. You can turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Again, keep priming this outer right hip in. It always wants to sink out. You can think of it as rolling it in and down, or down and in, really. Make sure your shoulders are square to the long edge side of your mat. One more breath here. And we'll come into our side angle. Extend the right arm forward, let the torso come with it. When you can't go any further, release the right arm down. Inside edge of that right thigh, left arm to the sky. You have your options to keep your arm here, or you can bring your right arm inside or outside edge of that foot. Use a block if you'd like, but try and stack your shoulders really open and draw that left shoulder up and back. It's really a revolved twist here as well. Really try to roll the pinky side edge forward so the palm faces forward. Maybe you turn the neck to look up towards the fingertips. Now, last option, you can drop the left arm forward and extend it, bicep next to ear. This time the palm faces down. Same option, you can look underneath that left arm. Keep firming that outer right hip in, pressing back through the left leg. Staying for one more breath. Now stay low. Again, release both arms down to either side of that right foot. Come up on that back heel in your low lunge just for a moment. And now let's walk our hands back to the left side. So same side we were at before. Facing the long edge side of your mat. Parallel your feet again. And now with your feet parallel, bring both hands to your hips, slight bend in the knees, and let's inhale as we raise our torso up. All right. Come into goddess pose. So draw your ankles in and your toes out. So heels in, toes out. So we're at like a 45-degree angle here. Same thing with your arms. Bring your hands to your hips if they're not already. Thumbs behind you, fingers in front. And do that same thing we did before. So use your thumbs to draw the tailbone down. Conversely, using the fingers in front to draw the hip points up. Now, once you have that, let's bend the knees and send and lower our hips down. Come into our goddess pose. As you bend the knees, you want them to fall out so that they're tracking over the ankles. Let's add our arms. Extend the arms out, palms face forward. Bend the elbows, come into our field goal post. Drawing the backs of the shoulders towards each other. Keep drawing that tailbone down, even though your hands aren't there. I know you can feel it. Stay for one more breath. And now stay in your goddess. Just release your arms down to the inside edges of your thighs. We'll add a twist here. So we'll inhale as we lengthen. Exhale, drop your right shoulder down. You can use that right arm to the inside edge to press that right thigh away as you twist from the navel up, turning to look over that left shoulder. Keep drawing that left shoulder back. Staying for one more breath. Let's inhale, come back to center, create length in the spine. Then use that length to exhale as you turn to your right now, dropping the left shoulder down. I always get a nice little crack in my low back on this one. Keep gently pressing that left hand into the left thigh. Turning the neck to look over that right shoulder as you draw it back. One more breath. Now let's inhale back to center. And exhale, hands to the hips as you straighten both legs. All right. Let's heel toe the feet back in to hips width distance. And come back to the top of the mat. So back at the top of the mat, this time bring your big toes to touch, heels to separate. From here, release your arms down to the sides, palms face forward. Coming into our chair pose. So we'll bend the knees, send the hips back, arms come forward, palms face each other. Make sure you can gaze down and see the toes. If you can't, send your hips back a little bit further. Make sure you have a nice long neutral spine. You're not arching or rounding here. Now bring your hands to the center of your chest, stay in your chair pose. We're adding our twist here. So inhale as you lengthen through the spine. Use that to exhale and twist to your right, keeping both hips level. Drop the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. You have that option, or you can stay up here without dropping the elbow. Now, either way, wherever you are, draw that left hip back. Most likely it came forward. We want our hips to stay level here. Now, final option, if you'd like, you can separate your hands so where your left fingertips come to the mat. Right arm opens up to the sky. Just an option here. Keep hugging the legs in towards each other. One more breath. And exhale, release down into your forward fold wherever you are. Inhale, lift up halfway, hands to the shins, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come back into your chair pose, arms forward. Now release your hands to the center of your chest. We're moving to the left side this time. So we'll inhale as we lengthen. Exhale, twist and turn from that navel up to the left side. Again, you can stay up or you can drop the right elbow to the outside of that left knee. Keep rolling that left shoulder back. Draw the right hip back. Most likely it came forward. Now you have the option to split your arms here if you like. Right fingertips to the mat. Left fingertips to the sky. Keep rolling that left shoulder back wherever you are. Firming both legs in towards each other. One more breath. And exhale, hinge forward into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Let's plant both palms to the mat. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back. Drop your knees to the mat. Shift your torso forward, bend the elbows lower all the way down. Uncurl the back toes, top to the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift up into your baby cobra. Staying here for a breath. Keep drawing the elbows in towards each other, releasing the tailbone down. And exhale, gently release. Curl the toes under.
Press yourself up through your tabletop, knees down. Lift the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. From your down dog, let's lift the right leg up to hip height, flexing the right foot. Now draw the right knee in toward your chest, shift forward, step the right foot up to the top of the mat. So we're in our low lunge here. Now we'll release the left hand directly underneath the left shoulder, pressing the fingertips of the palm into the mat or into a block if you need. Adding a twist, raise the right arm up to the sky, twisting from the navel up. And rolling that pinky side edge forward. Keep hugging the legs in towards each other. Make sure that right knee stays over the right ankle. Keep pressing that left leg back. Stay for one more breath. Now press down into your feet. Hug the legs in towards each other. And let's raise the torso up, keeping your twist. So your shoulders are still squared to the long edge side of your mat. Arms are up at shoulder height, palms facing away. Final option here is to turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Stay for one more breath. And now stay in your high lunge. Bring both arms forward as you turn your shoulders to face the front of the mat. Both arms overhead. And exhale, release both arms down. Send the right foot to meet the back foot in your plank pose. Knees down or up as you shift forward, bending the elbows lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, tops of the feet down. Inhale, lift up into your back bend. Baby cobra. Maybe you start to straighten the arms halfway or full way into your full cobra. And let's gently release, forehead to the mat. Curl the toes under. Press yourself up to down dog. Come through tabletop with knees down if you need to. Everyone in down dog will switch to the other side. Lifting the left leg up and back. Flexing the left toes. Press back through the heel. Now draw the left knee in towards your chest as you bend. Send the left foot up to the top of the mat. So we're in our low lunge here. Now pressing that right hand directly underneath the right shoulder, either the palm down, fingertips down, or hand on a block. Lift the left arm up to the sky on your twist. Keep hugging the legs in towards each other. Maybe you get a little bit lighter on that right hand. Turning the pinky side edge forward so the palm faces forward. One more breath here. All right, you know where we're going. Keep hugging the legs in towards each other. Press the feet down into the mat. And on your next inhale, lift the torso up. Get your balance. Keep your shoulders still squared to the long edge side of your mat. Arms up at shoulder height, palms facing away. Keep pressing that right heel back. One more breath. Stay in your high lunge, but turn your shoulders forward. Bring both arms up overhead. Crescent lunge here. And exhale, release both arms forward and down. Send the left foot to meet the back foot. Again, knees down or up, shifting forward, bending the elbows lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes. Inhale, lift up into your back bend. Baby half or full cobra. Shoulders over wrists, elbows drawing towards each other. And exhale, gently release, forehead down. Curl the toes under, press up through down dog. Come through knees down tabletop first if you need to. From our down dog, we're here for 3 breaths. Take it and use it. Keep pressing the chest back towards the thighs, hugging the triceps in, spinning the inner thighs in and up towards the sky. One more breath. Now let's inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Big toes touch, heels separate. Inhale as you lift up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Coming into chair pose, knees bend, arms forward, hips back. Now we'll straighten the legs, hands down through center, and arms down to the sides. Take a breath here before we move into our final sequence here. We're going to need it. Just 2 more breaths here. All right. Still at the top of your mat. Big toes touch, heels separate, arms down to the sides. Coming back into our chair pose. So we'll bend the knees, send the hips back, arms come forward. We'll exhale straight into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms down, step both feet back into your plank pose. Knees down or up as you shift forward, bending the elbows, lower all the way down. Uncurl the back toes, inhale, lift up into your back bend of choice. Keep drawing the shoulders down your back, releasing the tailbone towards the heels. Draw the ankles in towards each other, and gently release, forehead to the mat. Curl the toes under, lift and press up into your down dog. Come through knees down tabletop if you need to. We'll lift that right leg up and back to hip height, flexing the toes. Bend the right knee in toward your chest, shifting forward, step the right foot to the top of the mat. Stay in your high lunge here, or your low lunge here. Make sure that right knee tracks over that right ankle. Keep the shoulders squared forward, and inhale as you lift the arms up and overhead. We're now in our high lunge. Settle in here for a moment with the arms overhead, pinkies turned towards each other. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Now bring the hands into the center of your chest. Keep your legs just as they are. Just dip your chest and your torso forward about 45 degrees so you have a nice long line from the back heel through the crown of your head. We're moving into warrior three here. So on your next inhale, shift forward, press up off your back heel and lift that left leg up to hip height. Torso comes parallel with the mat. Keep flexing that left toe. Press down through the right heel. Firm that outer right hip in. Most likely you need to drop that left hip down just slightly. Keep pressing back through the left heel. Try to spin that inner left thigh in and up towards the sky and extend out through the crown of your spine. Create length here for one more breath. Now listen closely. We're still balancing, so we'll start to lift our torso up, bend the left knee up into our chest as you stand up. So we're standing up straight. Left knee is bent, hip height. Now let's inhale as we bring both arms up overhead, soften the shoulders down. Exhale, release the right arm to the outside edge of that left knee. Release the left arm behind you and add your twist, turning from the navel up. The pelvis squares and stays forward with the hips staying forward. We're just turning the upper body. So left palm behind, facing away. You can stay here, or you have the option, bring the outside, or bring that right hand to the outside of the left foot and start to straighten that left leg. Last option is to turn your neck to look over the left fingertips. We're here for 2 breaths. Keep firming that outer right thigh in. One more breath. Gently release as you turn back to center. Bring both hands into the center of your chest and release that left leg down. All right, shake it out for a moment. Let's inhale as we lift the arms up overhead and exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, step both feet back. Knees down or up as you shift forward. Bend the elbows lower all the way down. Tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift up into your back bend. Staying for a breath. And exhale, gently release. Curling the toes under. Lifting up and back into your down dog. We'll switch to the other side now. So we'll lift the left leg up and back. Press back through that left heel. Bend the left knee into your chest. Shift forward. Step the left foot to the top of the mat. Low lunge. Make sure your shoulders and your pelvis are squared forward. And then lift and inhale the arms up overhead, come into your high lunge. Settle in here, left knee tracking over that left ankle, press back through that right heel. Drop the tailbone down, lift the frontal hip points up, and drop your hands to the center of your chest. Now hinge forward 45 degrees to start. Get your balance. Take an inhale. And exhale, shift forward, press up off that back heel, come into your warrior three. Lifting the right leg up to hip height, flexing the right toes. Press down through that left heel, firm that outer left hip in. As you press back through the right heel, extend through the crown of your head. Drop that right hip down just a slight bit. Keep staying for one more breath. You know where we're going, so we'll start to lift our torso up, bend the right knee up into our chest, keep balancing. Knee is up to hip height. Let's inhale as we bring the arms up overhead, pinkies towards each other, palms face each other.
Exhale, release the left arm to the outside of that right knee. Release the right arm behind you. Keep it up at shoulder height, palm faces away. Stay for a breath. Keep firming that outer left hip in. You can stay here, or you have the option. Left arm grabs the outside of that right foot. Extend and straighten that right leg straight. Keep turning and twisting from that navel up. Maybe you turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. We're here for 2 breaths. Keep pressing down through that left heel. Root that foot down. Firm that outer left hip in. 1 more breath. Exhale, gently turn back to center. Keep your knee up for a moment. And then release the knee down, foot down, arms down. Big toes touch, heels separate. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold, plant your palms, step both feet back, raise your hips up and back into down dog just for a breath here. And then shift forward, release your knees down, tops of the feet down, big toes touch. Knees can be together or separate as you press your hips back toward your heels. Come into your child's pose. Releasing your forehead down, arms extend out. You also have the option to bring your arms down by your feet with the palms facing up towards the sky. Just make it your child's pose for a couple breaths. Two more breaths here. Now extend the arms forward if they're not already. Lift your head up, lift your hips up, extend your legs off to the side. We've got one more fun challenge left in us. So we're sitting on our sit bones with our legs extending out. Have your knees bent, put your feet on the floor. You can bring your feet together, knees together. Start with your hands underneath your thighs. Bring your feet off the ground, heels to the mat, and start to shift back until you can bring the heels off the mat. Keep your knees and your feet together. Now keep a nice long spine. We're coming to a boat pose. So this is option 1 to stay here. Option 2, bring your shins up to parallel with the mat. And option 3, you can release the arms forward. Whatever you do, try not to round your back to stay there. Still want a nice long spine. So imagine there's a string at the chest raising you up towards the sky. Now here's the fun part. Bring the hands into the center of your chest. We're adding some twists here. So inhale as you lengthen. Keep your lower body as it is. Exhale, twist your navel to the right. Drop the right elbow down to the mat. And inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back to center. So legs stay center. Right elbow down, right side. Inhale to center. Left elbow, left side. 2 more times each way. Twist from that navel up. Try and keep your hands at the center of your chest. I know it's tough. 1 more each way. And left side for the final time. Back to center. Let's release the heels down. Release the arms down. Shift your hips forward. Let's come onto our backs. You can hold onto your shins or your thighs as you gently roll onto your backs. And once you're here, let's hug both knees in towards the center of your chest. Lifting the feet off the mat, wrapping your hands around your shins. And now let's drop the feet down. Keep the knees bent. We'll come into our bridge pose. So knees and feet are hips width distance, arms down to the side. Press your feet down into the mat and inhale as you lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up into your bridge pose. Keep spinning the inner thighs in and down to keep those knees hips width distance. Send the chin away from the chest and the chest towards the chin. Stay here, or you have the option to roll the triceps under. Final option, clasp your fingers together, pinkies down, thumbs up, and try and draw the pinky towards the mat. So you're now on your triceps. Wherever you are, try and lift a little bit higher for 1 more breath. And exhale as you gently release the shoulders out. Roll down from the top of your spine. Low back last to arrive. From here, bring the knees to touch, separate the feet out wide. Let's gently let the knees rock from side to side. Let's be very slow here. Releasing any little bit of tension from the work we did in our low back here. Keep rocking side to side. Let's come back to center. Bring the feet back to hips width distance, separate the knees, and hug both knees into our chest. We'll add one more twist here. So you have the option either to keep your knees and your feet together, and you can let them fall off to the side in our spinal twist. Next option is you can send your right knee on top of your left knee so your feet are wound. And if you'd like, maybe you start to wind your feet underneath, so you wind a little bit more. Either way, shift your hips off to the right, and let's let the knees fall off to the left side. So with the right knee on top, our knees are falling to the left side. If your knees are just together, you can still let them fall to the left side. Bring both arms up to shoulder height. Extend out to a T or a field goal post with the palms facing up. If you want to use that left hand to gently press that left knee a little bit closer into the mat, you can do that, but keep that right shoulder on the mat. Last option is to turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. We'll stay for one more breath here. And let's release. Come back to center. Unwind your legs. Recenter your hips. And now we have the option to repeat that on the other side. So you can do the same thing if you want to keep your knees and your feet together. If you want to, this time send your left leg on top, wrapping your knees, maybe wrap your feet. Shift your hips to the left slightly, and then drop your knees off to the right side. Extending both arms out to a T or a field goal pose, palms face up. If you'd like, you can use that right hand to gently press that left knee down closer to the mat. But again, I'd like you to have your left shoulder rooted on the mat. And final option, turn the neck to look over the left fingertips. We're here for 2 breaths. One more breath. And gaze comes back up towards the ceiling. Bring the knees back up, release the bind of your knees. Send the feet back down to the mat. Let's hug the knees back into our chest for one last squeeze here. Let's do a happy baby. So separate the knees out wide. Bring the bottoms of the feet to face up towards the sky. Option for your arms, you can either grab the outsides of your thighs, outsides of your calves, or if you'd like, grab the outsides of your feet with your elbows on the insides of your knees. Either way, you're drawing those feet down so the knees come closer to the mat, but keep your low back on the mat. If you'd like, you can rock from side to side or just stay right here in the middle. And then meet me back to center. Let's bring both knees back into your chest. Give them a nice gentle squeeze. Now let's lift the head up, lift the shoulders up off the mat, come into an egg shape. One last squeeze here. Squeeze everything together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release and extend both legs straight. Extend both arms overhead. Fingers stretch away from your body as the toes point away, and one last full body stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale as you gently release. Arms down to the sides, palms face up. Let the extended legs and the knees and the feet fall off to the side. Start to settle into your Shavasana pose here. This is a time to release any last little bit of tension you may have in your body. Start to soften your gaze or bring your eyes to a close. Settling into this final pose of our practice. And finally, here, release any last little bit of control you have over your breath. Just be here. For your practice, your job is done. Let gravity do the work. So let your body just hang heavy and melt into the mat. And just begin to bring some awareness back into your body. And you can wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. And switch directions in those rotations. And come back to stillness for one last breath here on your back. Now begin to bend your knees in towards your chest as you roll over to one side of your body. Let your top arm rest on your bottom, top knee rest on your bottom knee. Stay for a breath here on your side. Now try to keep your eyes softened or your gaze closed as you use your top arm to press yourself up to a comfortable cross-legged seat to complete your practice today. In your cross-legged seat, you can place your palms on top of your knees. Your palms can face up, or bring your hands into the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Thank you for joining me for practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me for practice today. Really had a great time with all of you who were able to join. Hope you've had a wonderful week and enjoyed the practice today. Oh, Diana, good to see you again. Always nice to see you in classes. Well done for getting through practice today. Next practice will be next week. That'll be on Tuesday. So I think my schedule is shifting to having the fundamental classes on Tuesdays at 7 instead of Mondays. So I think that might be the only change coming within this next month. You can follow me on Instagram for more updates on that. I'll still update the YouTube link whenever those days change, but I think that's what we're moving to now. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the chat, in the comments. Again, my Instagram and There's other details to contact me in the description. If you'd like to donate, that donation link is in the description as well. Just want to give everyone props for making class today. And, we've been doing this for months. This is great. So always be proud of yourself for getting through a class, however you went through it. Release and hold no judgment over yourself. It's great just showing up. And looks like Oliver just wanted to show up at the end to say hello and have a good weekend to everyone. So that's what he's saying to me to say to you. Thank you all so much. Again, my name is Daniel with Daniel Lee Yoga. Thank you and have a wonderful weekend. Peace.